Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title, today we are going to be talking about why you should not become an English teacher in South Korea and the different options and alternatives that you have if you still want to go over there and not just as a tourist and you want to live there, you want to work there, the whole shebang. We're going to be talking about that. For those of you new around here, hi, I'm Andrea. I make videos that are Korean related or have some sort of Korean content with them, whether it is informational for entertainment or even scary stories / urban legends. That's my favorite segment so far. I do plan on continuing that. Okay, so for today's video, it's gonna be a lot more casual than the other ones that I've done. I really wanted to do something that was more personal, I guess, or personable. Is that a word? I don't know. But yeah, I've been wanting to make a video on this topic for quite a while now, and I didn't want to just kind of spew facts at you guys. Well, anyways, if you're wondering what I'm doing while I'm talking, I'm gonna be painting my nails while I do this because they really need the attention and I just have not had the time to go get them done. So that is what I am going to be doing while we talk about our subject. So you guys are probably wondering why I would even want to make a video like this, seeing as how I made so many videos that encourage people to apply and become an English teacher in South Korea. I mean, I have a whole playlist dedicated to how to become an English teacher in South Korea, full of videos that give you like instructions on the application, on the interview process, on pretty much everything you need to know. But there is a good reason for it though. So okay. I think the better question is whenever you're thinking about doing that, like you're thinking, okay, I want to go live in South Korea, I want to be an English teacher, you really have to ask yourself, do you really though? Like, do you actually want to become a teacher, or is it just because you want to go to South Korea? I would say that a huge percentage of people who go over to South Korea as an English teacher actually have no interest in being an English teacher. So I'm gonna give you an example of me, okay, and what happened to me with this whole English teacher process, right? And my plan on moving to South Korea. So teaching is not a passion of mine. When it comes to kids, I don't hate them, but I'm not all about them. So my plan was essentially that I would push for them to give me a middle school or high school job, which are super, super rare. Sometimes I know they do have positions available for middle school English teachers. Rarely, I don't think I know of anyone who have been able to snag a position, an English teaching position at a high school. If they did, kudos to them. But that is never a guarantee. If you've gone through the EPIC application, you know that you can request sort of like an age group that you want to work with. 9 times out of 10, you will be put with elementary students, especially pre-K and kindergartners, just little babies, where most of it is actually quite possibly comparable to just babysitting. And that is not particularly something that I was interested in doing. The thing is that I have such a high interest in Korea and Korean culture that I was able to overlook what I would be able to do for a living in order to move over there and live there, which isn't good, you know. And I feel like there's no way that I was the only one who was thinking like that, you know. So that is also why there is a lot of crap teachers over there in South Korea, and it gives foreigners a bad rep with the Korean natives. That's not a good thing, you know? So you really gotta ask yourself, why do you want to become an English teacher in South Korea? If it's because you really love the culture and you just really want to immerse yourself in Korea, but you don't particularly have a passion for teaching or are good with kids or even like kids, then I highly, highly suggest you look at your other alternatives, because you will be miserable. that's just it. I think that a lot of reasons, I think there's two major reasons. I think there's two major reasons why people always move, why people don't last in South Korea. Not everyone, obviously, but a large majority of them only stay there for that 1 year, maybe 2. And I think the reason for that would be because they hate it. They hate the job, and you cannot stay in South Korea if you don't have a working visa. Unless you get married, but that's a whole other subject. So that is something very important that you have to ask yourself. Why is it that you want to become an English teacher in South Korea? If you check the boxes for everything that I just mentioned, then don't do it, okay? There are other alternatives that you could pursue in order to make that goal a reality. So in conclusion, why should you not become an English teacher in South Korea if you are a person that does not enjoy teaching and does not enjoy the company of kids? Well, one, because you will hate it. You will not last in South Korea if you're doing something that you do not enjoy. Especially if you go to especially if you're one of those unlucky people that just have a very crappy assignment. Like if you're put in a school with a very bad co-teacher, or if you decided to go the Hagwon way and they just work you to the bone and you barely have any time to actually enjoy South Korea. It's work life can really make or break you. So that is why you should not become an English teacher in South Korea if you are a person that I just described. So, what are the alternatives? What other options do you have if you still want to go over there and you're like, okay, well, she pretty much described me. I actually don't want to be an English teacher, but I still want to go to South Korea. So what do? Well, you do have some alternatives. So as you know, to become an English teacher there, you do have to have a bachelor's degree. Doesn't have to be in a specific field or anything. We have people going over there with a whole bunch of different fields and careers that they could have had if they stayed at home, right? Well, one thing that you could do is put that degree to use in South Korea. Easier said than done. That's why people don't do it. That's why people go the English teacher route, because it is, dare I say, fairly easy, or at least easier of a route than the next few ones that I'm going to be talking about. But yes, you can use your bachelor's degree in whatever field you have to snag a job in South Korea, get a working visa from your boss, and get settled there. Granted, not every career from every country exists in South Korea and vice versa. So because of that, unfortunately, maybe some people out there who want to do this will not be able to go to this route. But for those of you who can, like, for example, if you are in marketing, business, graphic design, English, math, if you really want to go, if you do have a passion for teaching and you actually have a teaching degree, I highly suggest you look into international schools instead of public schools and Hagwons. I hear I don't know much about them, but I hear they're much, much better compensated. Now, in order to get a job with your degree over there in South Korea, it is highly, highly, highly recommended that you learn Korean. Is this more work? Yes. Because as an English teacher, you don't technically have to learn Korean. They just want you to speak English in the classroom. But in this alternative, it's highly recommended for you, depending on what field it is exactly that you're trying to do. It is highly recommended that you learn Korean at least intermittently. Maybe you don't have to be fluent, but definitely learn Hangul and definitely learn Korean. Your chances of snagging a job as a foreigner will be much higher if you do that. Now you're probably wondering, well, how in the world are you supposed to get a job way over there in South Korea while being in your home country? That is the tricky part. There definitely would be some ways to do it online. You can reach out to a company through their website. Definitely make sure it's an official website. Don't be scammed or anything. Gosh, please be careful about that. I've actually heard, I've heard one horror story of a friend who, because he's planning on going over there through this route. He was totally lied to and got scammed from a company that was interested in hiring him so that he can go over, and it just did not end well. So definitely be careful if you're planning on going that route. You do always still have the option of going to South Korea on a tourist visa and just using that time. I don't really know how long it is, to be quite honest. There might be different levels of it. But using that time to just really get your resume out there and go to as many companies as you can to present yourself, present your case, just get interviews, get as many interviews as you can during that time. That is another route that you can take, which is what my friend is actually planning on doing now. He plans on going over there on a tourist visa, and you do still, as of right now, have to quarantine for 2 weeks, I believe. I think that's still a thing. I didn't ask him, to be quite honest. But after the 2 weeks of quarantine, he plans on visiting the companies that he has already sent the resume to do a follow-up in person and check things out. So that's another thing that you can do. You can definitely go over there after you send your resumes and go to the company, show your face, let them know that you're very interested, very serious, increase your chances at getting hired. Now, for those of you who do not have a minimum of a bachelor's degree, it can be a little trickier. Another thing that you can do, another route that you can take, depending on who you are as a person and what your interests are, you can go over there and live and work on an entertainment visa. And when I mean entertainment visa, it actually has a broader sense of jobs than you probably are aware of. It doesn't mean you're gonna be a K-pop idol or an actress or a model. You can. If that's your thing, you can. And if you are good at it and you know some Korean and you just really present yourself out there, then it is definitely possible to do that. But that also includes a few other different jobs that you probably are not aware of. So an entertainment visa, also known as the E6 visa, is, and I will read it to you, the E6 visa is a long-term work visa granted to workers in the culture and entertainment industries. So this visa would be for people who are interested in working in music, arts, literature, sports, entertainment like acting or music performances, even advertisement and fashion modeling. So it has quite a few different subdivisions that you can pick from. If you are interested in any of those and you already have a passion for that and that is what you want to do, you could definitely take that, come over to South Korea, try to get a job in that field, and have a working entertainment visa with that. One thing I will say about that though, if you want to work in South Korea with an entertainment visa, if you are an aspiring actress or model or novelist, whatever it may be that falls under all of those categories, you definitely want to accumulate some rep in your home country, some work, I should say. You want, even if it's just a little bit, you don't have to have a huge long resume of everything that you've done of your past work, but you want a little something at least. You definitely want to have some experience, some references, and again, you want to learn some Korean. It will definitely not be easy. And again, this is exactly why people always go the English teacher route, because you don't have to do all that extra work. To become an English teacher, all you have to do is fill out an application, turn it in, do an interview process, and just wait and see if they accept you or not. With these other two routes, you definitely have to put in more work. It's definitely a lot more fickle, and you might get disappointed. But the great thing is that if you get rejected by one company, one agency, one person, you could always look for another one. If by any chance you do not fall under any of these categories, you don't have a minimum of a bachelor's degree, you are not interested in any of those categories that fall under the E6 visa, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm sure there is probably some sort of other opportunity that you can take via networking. Networking is always a great thing to do, but I am not aware of any other ways to make it over there and have a work life or just a life in general over there in South Korea. If you do, feel free to leave it down in the comments. I mean, I'm sure other people will appreciate it. Okay, so that about covers it for today's video. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them down below. If you have any answers or corrections, feel free to do that too. I am not perfect. I could have made a mistake. But thanks so much for watching, guys. I know I've been gone for quite a while. What was it, like 7 months since my last upload? I don't even know. I just had so much stuff going on, to be quite honest. I moved, for one thing. I did move. Not South Korea. I am not there yet. But that is still the plan. I'm working on it. So I do plan on creating more content for you guys, being a little bit more consistent. Definitely, I'm not going to go a whole 7 months without uploading again, okay? I'm not going to do that again. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this and I hope you were entertained. If you liked what you saw, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell button, and I will see you in the next one.